evening. This is the world news at 6 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Ijeoma Innocent, and these are the top stories. Senate Chief Whip Ndume reveals the federal government is benefiting from dollar hike. Lagos civil servants to work from office 3 days a week amid hardship. Southeast youth leaders urge federal government to send money directly into Nigerians' accounts, and the former lawmaker demands investigation of INEC over what he calls fraudulent elections. On the foreign scene, Indonesia hit by some of the strongest winds recorded. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The world news at 6 begins with the Borno South Senator Ali Ndume disclosing that the Nigerian government benefits from the dollar-to-naira increase. Senator Ndume had, in an interview with Channels Television today, analyzed how the government is not losing out from the naira depreciation against the dollar, but is gaining more revenue to fund its 2024 budget. According to the senator, the 2024 budget presented last November by President Bola Tinubu is a dollarized budget in terms of income, and most of the government revenue comes from crude oil exports, which are priced in dollars. Ndume further explained that as the dollar's value increases, the government would have more naira to spend on its expenditure denominated in naira. Meanwhile, as Nigerians lament the high cost of living crisis in the country, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has said that Lagos State civil servants from level 1 to 14 will come to work physically 3 times a week and work virtually for the other 2 days to ease economic pressure in the state. The governor, who stated this during a media chat today, also announced a 25% reduction on all public transportation in the state. He explained that this does not mean that any form of government will be shut down, but level 15 to 17 workers will miss work for a day. Governor Sanwo-Olu said the state government does not want a charged, aggravated workforce, hence the option of a hybrid work schedule to reduce the number of days workers come to work physically. He said the measure will reduce the pressure on the roads and reduce economic pressure on the workers. In the meantime, the coalition of Southeast youth leaders has advocated for direct fund deposit into people's accounts to ensure transparency and accountability in hunger alleviation efforts. The coalition emphasized that for genuine efforts to address hunger, the federal government should bypass governors, lawmakers, and politicians, while also cautioning that the allocated 30 billion naira to state governors to alleviate hardship might be subject to embezzlement. In response to Senate President Godswill Akpabio's revelation that each of the 36 governors reviewed 30 billion naira from the Federal Inland Revenue Service to assist in improving the current food crisis, the coalition, through its President General Goodluck Ibem, expressed concern in a statement issued today that the money would not reach the targeted beneficiaries. According to the statement, it said the previous 5 billion naira and rice palliatives given by President Tinubu to governors did not get to the people it was meant for. He said, unfortunately, the palliatives and money ended up in private pockets of governors. He said they were challenged to show evidence, but they gave out the money to the people or show how it was used for the benefit of citizens. They also said if the federal government is sincere in its determination to address hunger in the land, it should bypass the governors, lawmakers, politicians, and send the money directly into the accounts of the people for probity and accountability. In another development, a former member of the House of Reps, Ndume Egwuatu, has called for an immediate investigation of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) over what he called the cascading fraudulent conduct of general elections. Mr. Egwuatu, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the former Minister of Land, Housing and Urban Development, made the call on February 10 in Eket, Akwa Ibom State, during a press conference to mark his 80th birthday celebration. He also called called for a comprehensive overhaul of Nigeria's electoral system, saying the country cannot go to another election with this porous system. Mr. Essien said Nigeria's flawed leadership recruitment system and other factors such as what he called endemic corruption, insecurity, impunity, nepotism and bad governance have put the country at a crossroad and have cast a shadow over the nation's future. He called for the reform of the country's judiciary, saying the prevalence of cash judgment schemes undermines the very foundation of our democracy and erodes public confidence in the judiciary. Elsewhere, embattled Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, has returned to Nigeria. A statement by Igboho's spokesman Olayomi Koiki on X today confirmed that the activist returned to the country for his late mother's burial. Koiki also posted a video where Igboho could be seen with some people believed to be at the mortuary. You will recall that Sunday Igboho has been out of Nigeria since 2021 when he eloped to Benin Republic after he was declared wanted by the Department of State Services, DSS. Well, now joining me to discuss this and other issues on the World News at 6 this evening, I have Mr. Babatunde Abdulaziz, the Supervisor for Job and Wealth Creation, Ejigbo LCDA, and also a National Affairs Analyst. Well, we'll have to call him back as he seems to have dropped the call for a bit to stay with us. Mr. Abdulaziz, welcome to the conversation this evening. Thank you for joining me on the World News at 6. It's a pleasure to have you here. I can hear you. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you with me, please?
Hello?
Oh, dear. I can hear you, Mr. Abdulaziz. Can you hear me, sir? Hello there. Hello, Mr. Abdulaziz. Can you hear me, sir? Mr. Abdulaziz, please indicate if you can hear me so we can proceed with the conversation. Unfortunately, we seem to be experiencing network glitches there. I will try to reach Mr. Abdulaziz one more time. Mr. Abdulaziz, can you hear me now, sir? Hello, Mr. Abdulaziz, can you hear me? I can hear you perfectly. I don't know if you can hear me, sir.
Hello?
Mr. Abdulaziz back on the line. I hope you can hear me this time around. Hello, Mr. Abdulaziz. Are you with us? Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Abdulaziz. Are you there? All right, then. Unfortunately, we are experiencing issues connecting with Mr. Abdulaziz. In the meantime, the world news at 6 continues. Senate President Godswill Akpabio disclosed yesterday that 30 billion naira has been issued to governors of the 30 states of the Federation to address food shortage and economic hardship facing Nigerians. Now, Senator Akpabio, who made the disclosure, advised the governors to effectively utilize the money, noting that each state is expected to appropriately use the funds to guarantee food supply. You will recall that in recent times, food costs have increased nationwide as a result of the present economic downturn. Speaking on the development, Akpabio said, unverified report has it that each of the state government in the last few months received additional 30 billion naira from Federal Inland Revenue Service outside their normal allocation from the Federation account to assist them in ameliorating the food situation. He said he believes that every state government should utilize the funds so received towards ensuring that food is available. He said food shortages have also been connected to holding by some individuals and illicit smuggling into nearby nations. In the meantime, the Senate has confirmed the appointment of 12 persons as members of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The confirmation comes after reports of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions Committee of the CBN was considered during plenary today. The confirmation of the new MPC members comes days to the first policy meeting of the Apex Bank under the new CBN governor. The meeting has been slated for February 26 and 27, 2024. Meanwhile, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has said the state government will not hesitate to bring down houses that contravene the state's planning rule. At the media parley today, the governor said there are some offices that their houses also went down during demolitions. Last year, demolition of buildings resumed in Lagos, with the state government and the Federal Housing Authority pulling down structures in Ikota, Lekki, Alaba, Ajao Estate, Abuleado, Ladipo Market, and other areas of the state. The buildings demolished reportedly contravened the master plan of the city and were built on drainage channels, with the exercise making hundreds of families homeless. But Governor Sanwo-Olu said the houses demolished contravenes the state planning laws and contributed to flooding in the state. He said they're not being emotional but being factual. He also said it has nothing to do with ethnicity but doing what is right. He noted that doing the right things might be difficult sometimes, but they will appear unpopular, but it is for the safety of everyone in the state. He also noted that people who deliberately build on the right of way of drainage canals, which is below sea levels, and so when the waters have to go and come back again and again, he assured that no one will willingly be attacked by virtue of race, gender, color, ethnicity, or tribe in Lagos. He's also saying that he will be the first to apologize and make amends if anyone's house has been unjustly demolished. In the meantime, former governor of Bauchi State, Ijeoma Egwuatu, has accused the banks of being contributors to the destruction of the Nigerian economy. We have Mr. Abdulaziz back on the line, and I do hope this time around he can hear me. Can you hear me, Mr. Abdulaziz?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad we're finally able to get through to you. Apologies for the issues we've been facing. Network issues, we do not know where it's coming from. All right, let's quickly talk about the way forward. As it is right now in the country, we know that there is hardship. We know that there's been an economic downturn. We know there's food. There's issues with food security at the moment. We know that people have been protesting. But I'd like to start from what the Lagos State government is doing. First of all, Governor Sanwo-Olu is saying that civil servants will work from office for 3 days a week. That's level 1 to 14 will work from the office for 3 days and work from home for 2 days, while level 15 to 17 will work in the office for 4 days and only miss a day of work. I would like to, we're also getting feelers that there are reports that food banks and soup banks will spring up across the states to feed at least 1,000 people in different LGAs every day. Sir, you are the when it comes to things like when it comes to palliatives, right? You are the supervisor for job and wealth creation of Ejigbo Local Council Development Area. We'd like to hear from you if this really can assuage the hunger in the land.
Okay, thank you. Honestly, the situation in which we have found ourselves is a bit a more difficult one. But it's not something I would tell you that we cannot get out of if we all put hands on the deck. And as a Nigerian, we must put country first. What the Lagos State government have actually as the governor just announced, if it's been probably monitored and followed well, I think one way or the other is pushing one or two effects. But I still feel that the governor will still have to come up with more plans as the days goes by, because he also announced the issue of transportation, more transportation effects being coming in to affect all of the plans in which they have area. I know they are expecting the train stations to also work and do all of those things too as well. But looking down to the local government, but you know what I would like to probably talk about, I think it has to come from the top so that we cannot change those. So we can all sweep in line. I think now the president needs to go directly into massive diversion into agriculture. And this can only be possible that whatever money we have saved from subsidy, we should just divert all of that money to agriculture. It is something we need to go into with immediate effect, because at least let us grow what we eat. We have an NYC, we have stream 1, stream 2, stream 3. Every year we have the NYC. Let it be known to every young people now that when you're wearing that jersey for the next 1 year, you will be farming. Because this is the only thing that could save us. We have nothing we are selling to the world. We are not selling anything to the world. So there is no way the Naira would have that effect in which you should have, the strength in which you should have. We don't produce anything. We export literally almost everything, including toothpick. So there's no way forward. If we do not go down, if we do not go back to farming now, then I don't know how we want to come out of all of these things. Yes, there are other measures that also needs to come. There are other measures that also needs to be in place. I understand that. But at least at the moment now, I think our advice, if there's any other means for one to get to the presidency, is for them to probably, at the moment, in order to relax the old pressure and everything, maybe the border should be open. When you open the border, then divert that subsidy money, all of the subsidy money. I do not believe in the ideology of this money being given to the government anymore, because there is no amount of ways the more you divert this money to the state. Some states are holding the money. You cannot compare Lagos to other states. Lagos is a populated state. That the amount of people that comes in and out because of the state is because of the success the state is known for over time. A lot of people want to come into Lagos because it's only in Lagos you probably will wake up broke and probably can wake up rich overnight. You understand? That's the workforce. That's the sacrifice the government had made in the past. And this whole thing started from the Tinubu administration while he was a governor of Lagos State in 1999. So if we can go back, join board, and try to correct some of these things, I think we'll be heading somewhere. But like I said, that I'm hammering on this world. Agriculture is the only one now we can back up, because our soil, we have every capacity, we have all it takes for us to probably put more energy into this thing. It just needs this fund for us to be able to supply to farmers, encourage more young people to go into this sector. You know, we need massive subsidy in agriculture, we need on health, we need on education.
So are you saying we also need food subsidy instead of having soup kitchens spring up across the state?
Trust me, I think we need food subsidy too. We need to subsidize. If we subsidize all of these things, even for farmers, if you look into what I'm trying to say, subsidize all of these fertilizers, make it available, make all of these things, and the foods in which you feel that are being installed. That's why we need a food bank as well. If you have a food bank, you know that some of these things can be subsidized for those in the rural area. Because now, let me tell you the truth. I think I posted something on social media that created like an eyebrows from everyone. I said, because if somebody is telling me that he's buying a bag of rice for 70,000, the one buying Chanel, you understand? It's the same person buying dollar. Nigerians, I don't think the government needs to focus on somebody who is buying those three things at the same time. We need to focus on those who cannot buy any of those things. And those who cannot buy any of those things are the ones that are more crucial to us now. Those who feel they can purchase dollar. You understand? I don't think any one of these. Some of these things are even artificial problems, because one, things that do not even need dollar has already skyrocketed. Because everybody is trying to put the whole blame on
So the problem is not even the dollar, right?
No, the dollar has joined they're part of the economy that the dollar will certainly affect.
Okay, Mr. Abdulaziz. As regards dollar, right, I want to ask a question. So, the Senate Chief Whip, Senator Ndume of Borno South, is saying that the federal government is benefiting from the dollar to naira increase. Now, he's saying this is because the presidency presented a dollarized budget in terms of income. He's saying that revenue comes from crude oil exports, which are priced in dollars. So, even as the dollar is increasing, the federal government is benefiting from it, because whatever income they are receiving in dollar will also increase, right? I don't know, is this good news? Should we take it as good news? Because now this is a funding for the 2024 budget. Is that to say that we have more to inject into the country? Is that to say we have more to fund the budget? Should we be happy with this news? Literally, is it good news or bad news? Hello, sir, are you with me? Hello, Mr. Abdulaziz, are you there? Hello, sir, can you hear me? All right, then we've been having a conversation with Mr. Babatunde Abdulaziz, the supervisor for job and wealth creation, Ejigbo Local Council Development Area, and also a national affairs analyst. And he's been saying the best thing for the government to do right now to tackle the economic hardship in the country is to create a subsidy for food and to create food banks across the country. If you can hear me, thank you so much, Mr. Babatunde Abdulaziz, for being a part of the conversation this evening. You have been listening to the World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. On the foreign scene, Indonesia has been struck by some of the strongest winds recorded in the country, injuring at least 33 people. Buildings were damaged as the winds tore through the town of Sumedang in the West Java province. Videos uploaded to social media show debris flying through the air, roofs torn from buildings, and the part of a convenience store collapsing. A climatologist at the government research body BRRN said the winds were strong enough to be considered a tornado. However, Indonesia's Meteorology, Climatology and Geophysics Council BMKG stopped short of calling it such. The previous strongest winds in Indonesia were seen in Semenyan, Bandung in 2021 when speeds of 56 km per hour were recorded. And that's it on the World News at 6. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that the Senate Chief Whip has revealed that the federal government is benefiting from the dollar hike. Lagos civil servants to work from office. The former lawmaker demands investigation of INEC over what he calls fraudulent elections. On the foreign scene, Indonesia hit by some of the strongest winds recorded. And that is a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Ijeoma Egwuatu. Please follow our social media handles at VOP903FM for coverage of your live events and brand news mentioned in our news bulletins. Do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good evening and thank you for listening.